let's segue that to real estate, because I gotta ask you now, because we're bringing back, everything comes back to real estate at the end of the day. We're all in this industry, myself as a lawyer, you guys as the realtors, right? So bring it back. Seb was the realtor.
Yeah.
He started off, he was in it for about, you said 7 or 8 years before you got into it?
Yeah,
So what led you, Seb, first of all, to real estate? And then how, when I ask you the same question, what then brought you working together? So let's start with Seb.
Yeah, I got in, how did I get in? I don't even remember. I think it was just, had a couple buddies in it. And then, like everybody else, I thought, hey, it's unlimited income. You're your own boss.
Easy money, right?
Easy money.
They just hand it to you.
Yeah, there's no ceiling.
There's no work.
Problem is there's no floor either. But so yeah, and that's kind of just how I got into it. And then yeah, he was thinking about getting into it.
Yeah.
And then we would just talk every now and then, because like at that point in our lives, kind of he was doing his thing, I was doing my thing, and just because life was busy, we weren't really going out as much anymore because we were older, and our schedules didn't kind of coincide. So anyways, then we started, talking a little more, and then he was telling me he was getting into it. Mm-hmm. And then I guess I gave him a couple of pieces of advice, and then one time we were at a Starbucks, and it just kind of oddly enough, like it dawned on me at that time, even though we were talking about it for maybe a couple months prior, it dawned on me. I'm thinking, hey, why don't we just work together? Like it makes just more sense, right? But I don't know if you thought about it, but to be honest, like in our conversation, it didn't even cross my mind to think like, why don't we work together? And just that day at that Starbucks, I'll never forget it. I said, you know what? Why don't we just work together?
What was your reaction when he said those words? Were you thinking the same thing, or did that hit you on left?
Well, no, like you got to understand, this was a new industry that I was going into, so I didn't know the structures per se. I didn't know the systems, the operations, or whatever, right? So I didn't really think to myself, oh, okay, you could get into real estate, you could work with somebody, you can work on your own. Like that stuff didn't really cross my mind, right? I didn't really have a plan going in. I figured I'm going to get my license, right, and just go from there. I didn't even want to do it full time at first, right? I had other stuff going on. I was fine, right? And I thought, okay, cool. Let me just get this, and then we'll see what happens with it. So he had reached out a couple of times, like he said, while I was doing it, while I was studying for it. And I got my license like a while back now, where things were different. It wasn't as, now you got to do it through Humber. Prior to that, they changed a bunch of rules and stuff as well. So for me,
were you in RIA at the time?
Yeah. But it was like the cohort before the one that they changed everything over. Yeah. So for me, it was you write 3 exams, you get licensed.
And I was teaching with RIA back then.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I was teaching a real property law course.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
And then when it switched over, I'm like, I can't do this Humber thing the way they're doing it. So it's a lot more challenging now, I think, and also I can't even tell you, no offense to Humber, but as far as how the systems are versus back in the old days school, I think there was a lot more value in how you learned it and how they did it. So anyways.
So I did correspondence, right? Like I signed up, they would send me the books. I never went to a class. I'd go to write the exams.
You should have gone to a really property law course. But you know what?
Yeah, I know. It's okay. We're here now.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, we've learned real property law together as we've been going along.
Oh yeah.
So I got to ask you now. So I've never asked you this before. Funny question. So you're still in elementary school, you're probably like doing spitballs and stuff.
Yeah, I remember those.
And penny hockey and whatever else was doing back in elementary school.
I remember the penny hockey.
Yeah.
And loony football, that was fun.
Yeah.
In between that, what did you think you were going to be when you grew up? Do you remember?
That's a good question.
I never had a vision of like, I want to be this or I want to be that. No.
Interesting. You?
I just let it flow.
I don't think I should be saying these things on air.
No, it's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, it's not appropriate.
So I'll tell you both. So I'll start. I was going to be a second generation lawyer. My dad was a lawyer. The dinner table, all they talked about was real estate, and you're going to be the lawyer. You're going to be the lawyer. Every family needs a lawyer. You're going to be lawyer. Like they had the Israeli accent, right? So I'm like, all right, I guess I got to be a lawyer. But secretly in my mind, I thought I'm going to be a gardener.
A gardener?
Gardener.
Like
the gardener, because I thought, you know what?
Like a pool boy, you mean, or like a gardener?
I'm in grade 2, grade 3.
Oh, okay.
So I thought gardener's the way to go. Why? Because you get your winters off, because you got no gardening to do, right?
Yeah.
Mow a few lawns, make big butts. It's easy. And then they bring me into the garden, and I actually have to like do flowers and weeding, and I'm like, this sucks. This is hard work.
Oh yeah.
Then I found out that gardeners are working so hard all summer long, spring, summer, fall. Then they got to go put the plow going because they're also the snow plow guys.
Yeah.
I said, screw that. I'm not. That's not for me. I cannot do that. And I'm not. I don't like gardening. I don't enjoy it the slightest.
No, man.
But that's what I thought I was gonna be. And then from there, I was a big Mr. T fan, and I wanted to be Mr. T.
No way. It's amazing.
I had a giant poster of him on my wall. There's a picture of me sitting at my desk. I'm in like grade 2, grade 3.
Do you know who Mr. T is?
He's the guy with the big gold chain and the boxing.
He doesn't know nothing about nothing, bro.
Yeah, so Mr. T, if you look in your, I don't know what they're teaching in history class, but Mr. T had the mohawk, he had the gold chains.
And he had a famous quote, no?
I pity the fool.
Oh yeah.
And
I know
so
what
he's
it is
known
now.
from the show The A-Team, which got remade.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
was also in the Rocky series. In Rocky 3, he was
That's
a
right,
boxer,
that's right.
Clubber Lang. I wanted to be Clubber Lang. I wanted to be Mr. T. So I had a poster of him on my wall, and I'm wearing my Garfield sweatshirt. I hate Mondays. That's what I wore every Monday.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to be Mr. T. So I kind of became Mr. T a little bit. I went to boxing, but ended up fulfilling what I thought and ended up going to law. But it's funny because I've met very few realtors that ever said, I knew I was going to be a realtor. That was the industry for me. The only ones,
Nobody says.
Unless
Nobody
you're-
actually means that if they say.
unless you're second or third generation.
Yeah, of a successful agent.
successful
Of a
one.
successful
All
agent.
right, maybe because you want to emulate your mom or your dad. Yeah, maybe.
Even-
Or they just kind of push you into it because it's so easy.
Even those realtors, you know, you're right, because even those realtors growing up, they said, you know, my parents do that, but I'm not going to do that. That's not
Yeah,
for me. I don't want to be doing weekends and evenings, and because they know the grind. They've been through it. Their parents are not home for dinner. Like, they're constantly on the phone, right? You realize that. And eventually you're like, you know what? It is actually a good business because it does pay you off if you know how to work it.
That's right.
But, you know, we can sit here and talk about the value of the industry, but we know there's very few agents doing most of the business. Why? Because unfortunately, it's also an industry that, in many industries, if you don't work hard and you don't have it,
Yeah.
you're not going to get very far. To me, what you guys do for a living is the hardest work on the planet because you are creating something from nothing. Nobody is punching you out and guaranteeing you an income. You kill what you eat, what you kill.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
way. And to do that hustle, if you're afraid of your own shadow, you can't knock on the door. You can't talk to somebody at Starbucks. How are you going to survive in the real estate industry, right?
100%, man. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, it's a grind. But I think any entrepreneur, it's the same thing. I mean, same with you, right? It's always a grind, right? You always have to get people through the door, right? However way you go about it, right?
I can tell you that as a lawyer, and I think this works in any industry, your first few years, you're not really earning money. You're getting experience, you're getting knowledge. That's it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of realtors, they work in a team setting, they work at whatever brokerage they work at, and they just want to learn how to do their craft.
Yeah.
Most of us as professionals, the light bulb doesn't go on until year 10. Year 10 is when you've got everything down from the experience and knowledge part, and then you start to take off, and then you realize, whoa, I actually have a book of business. I actually know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I would say, you know, what you guys were doing on social media before anybody else was doing it, you know, I'm sorry to all those other realtors out there, and some of us were really close friends, so I apologize in advance, but you go on social media, hi, I'm a realtor. I can buy and sell your home. Please contact me. I can do a quote at no charge. I really like real estate and I can help you. What? Like, and people are flipping off that in 2 seconds. When I come on and I'm watching your social media, I don't realize 99% of the time you're even doing real estate.
Sometimes to a fault.
Yeah.
Sometimes to a fault. We got to put.
We're better now. Yeah,
No, we got to put a little more.
No,
real
we're
estate.
better now because we do like some educational content, but it's not bland. Like it's quick, it's upbeat.